What's up, everyone? I'm Sam Merlot, my co-host Stank and Poppy Latte, and you're watching The Loose Cannons, brought to you by For the Bay Clothing and Sauce and Wings. Check them both out on Instagram and Twitter. Amazing food and amazing merchandise, all Tampa-based, amazing stuff. Check them out and show them the love and support you guys show us on the daily. We're hanging out with our buddy Donnie, the legend Abraham, Iceman. What is up, Donnie? Welcome back to The Loose Cannons, man.
What's going on? Appreciate it.
Just hanging out.
Three
man.
and one. 3-1, Donnie.
3-1.
Hey,
Okay, how we got here? 3-1.
Better than last year's start.
Very true. Very true. And that was an ugly game, ugly weather. You know, I'm just glad we pulled it out because it was looking a little grim there for a minute.
But you know, it was an emotional game, so we should have expected something like that because I mean, he's human. I mean, so of course, how's he going to separate his emotion? He's been there 20 years. You know, so we knew it was going to be a tough fought game, and we just happened to come out on the winning end, and that's all that matters. It matters if you win by 1, 2, 3 points. We got the dub.
You could say it, Donnie. Hit him with the Venturella. Don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
I mean, I'm sure your blood pressure didn't go up at all. But you're used to those games right there where you know, it's a 1-point victory. You know, you lived those Dungy years, and that was very, very Dungy-esque.
Yeah.
Dungy ball right there.
Yeah, that was Dungy. That was a Dungy ball game. Yes,
It was.
Football.
Yep. The
Football.
defense played well, I thought, Donnie. They played well, especially over the last few weeks. They seemed to respond. They played pretty good against rookie quarterback. We got to see Richard Sherman for the first time as a Buccaneer. Speak a little bit what you saw from that secondary and the defense overall, because they seem to have a little bit more pep in their step, and they seem to respond to their bad game up in L.A.
Well, I think they played well as if you look at points scored and points allowed. You know, I think they still, you know, should have gotten after the rookie a little bit more, and maybe they tried, but New England had a good game plan. I mean, they were getting the ball out of his hands, and you got to give it for him. I mean, he played a hell of a game as a rookie quarterback, you know, versus a great defense. You know, statistically, it might not be great right now as far as passing wise, but you know, that just kind of contributes to all the teams understanding that we can't run on them. We got to throw the ball, you know, and that's exactly what New England did. But the defense fought hard. You know, they flew around. More injuries. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the secondary, but they got a bug going through there right now, injury bug, and they still held it together. I mean, even Richard Sherman coming off the streets. I don't know if they meant to play him that much, but I think when Carlton Davis got hurt, I think he had to stay in there. Hopefully that doesn't hurt him in the long run, because you can say all you want about how great a shape you're in until you get out there. And you know, Richard Sherman was talking about he's in great shape. He's been keeping in shape, doing all of this, but I guarantee you his body was hurting the next day because he played 99.9% of the snaps, I think.
Pretty much.
We joked about that last week that he was on the Peloton, and that, you know, that ain't game ready.
No, that's
they
totally
targeted him 9 times too, so they went at him.
So hopefully he can recover well from that, and that doesn't set him back. You know,
He made a lot of tackles too, and I know he's the one delivering the blow, but he's a DB, not really trying to knock your head off. So he's receiving 50% of that tackle. So leading the team in tackles is probably not the best for your first game back, especially after 3 days of practice. So like you said, I do think he was probably pretty sore, but what did you see from him that looked promising, especially coming off of only, like we said, 3 days? Did he look like he was comfortable? Did he look like he was playing a little bit safe? Was there anything that looked concerning?
well, I mean, he's a true veteran, so he looked comfortable out there. It's going to take him a few games to kind of get back into game shape and do what he's accustomed to doing. But I mean, you saw different things. He played off coverage like he normally does. He played some press man like he normally does. So for him, it's just like riding a bike. He's just getting thrown back in there, but he just has to get in some type of game shape, and he only get better as the season go on.
Now, what about the younger guys? Cockrell, I think, had a bounce back game. Delaney, what do you think about those guys? Did you get a chance to take a peek at them and how they looked? And that front seven, I mean, -1 yard rushing, like that's just that's crazy. Nobody's talking about that. Like -1 yard rushing. The Patriots run. They're not Tennessee, but they run. You know.
Right. I mean, some of that is too. teams are saying just forget it. We're not gonna try to run into a brick wall every play. So let's just throw it, especially when they got injuries in the secondary. We got so many injuries in the secondary. We got Richard Sherman coming off the streets. I mean, a smart offense is going to be like, you know what? We know the front seven is their strong point. Well, let's just go after their weakest link right now. And because of all the injuries and because of the young guys still gaining experience, that seems to be the safe bet by every offense that we're playing right now.
Despite all that, Antoine Winfield Jr. made 2 plays. He had an interception and a fumble recovery out there. They were still making the plays that they needed to keep us in the game. Right. He had a big momentum, play out there that kind of stopped the bleeding for us a little bit. And I fully expect that Sherman's going to be one week better. Hopefully, as his body is, like you said, can recover from it. Because sounds like we're going to be in this situation even down Winfield this week again. Thankfully, the Dolphins don't seem to be too much of a threat in the air.
They're 31st in passing.
We got Jacoby Brisket coming to town, right? So hopefully the Bucs tee off on him.
And he guaranteed a victory today. Brisket guaranteed a victory today.
He did not.
I saw that tweet.
He did not guarantee. He did. He was saying they asked him what he would say to his younger teammates when it comes to facing a guy like Tom Brady. That's all. And he responded. He didn't guarantee a victory. I don't want to put.
What did he respond?
He said, "We're here to win a game. We're not here to watch Tom Brady." That's what he would tell his young teammates. Right. Remember, he backed up Tom Brady, I think, for one season.
Yeah, he did.
Before he ended up being an Indianapolis Colt. Donnie, when you have a team like this with the injuries that are going on in the secondary, and you've got these youngsters out there playing, how important is it for them to get the playing time that they're getting and letting them kind of work their way through it and develop as you wait for those guys to come back and nurse themselves back to health? How important is it for them to actually be out there and get these reps, or do you try to mask them and help them and kind of cover up for their deficiencies?
No, I think it's important for them to get these reps because later down the road you're going to need those guys again. So, with the valuable experience that they're gaining now is only going to help them down the road. So yeah, they need to take all the lumps and bruises they can get. They need to compete. They need to face the top receivers. They need to go through all of that so the secondary could be stronger once we get to the end of the year. So that's going to be great. But one of the other issues too is, you remember before I talked about the group performing well together, the safeties and the corners. Well, one issue that they may have later on is the group hasn't been together. So when those guys who are injured now come back,
communication.
Remember, it's going to take them 4 to 5 games to kind of get back into game shape and get back involved in where they can get that group back together and start playing together again. So hopefully, the sooner the better that those guys get back, the better that they'll be at the end of the year.
Donnie,
go ahead.
Donnie, man, we dodged a bullet, man. We all were thinking the same thing when we saw CD go down. It was like, oh shit, this looks bad. Right. He couldn't walk off the field. He got carted to the locker room. I thought he ripped his quad off his freaking bone.
Right.
And then the news came out. It's only going to be 2 to 4 weeks.
Right.
We dodged a bullet. He's playing at an elite level right now. So we can just hold the bleeding. And I saw, and you said it earlier, right? You said it against the Cowboys when you came on with us. You said, it's the NFL. You can only do so much hiding. You got to put your guys out there. They got to play. You got to scheme. You got a game plan. You got to do what you got to do. So next man up. But the good news is it looks like we're going to start to get some of these guys, week by week. Maybe Dean this week, maybe not. If not, the following week. SMB was out of the sling, and it looks like he has the brace on. So hopefully in 2-3 weeks he's back. And then by that time, hopefully Carlton's back as well.
Right.
We dodged one because it could have been worse if CD was out for the year.
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse. And then, SMB has one of those injuries where you don't know. Like, he could be back in 3 weeks, but he could also be out another 6 to 8 weeks, because the report I saw about him without his sling, well, you gotta take him out of his sling so he can gain motion back in it. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to come back. So, he possibly could be out another, 4 to 8 weeks. So that's going to hurt. And like you said, Carlton Davis, it's kind of one of them things where, you play defensive back. he has a quad groin area that hurt. You got to remember, we change directions a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be healthy enough to come back, but not healthy enough to perform at his position because of all the things he has to do. So it may take him another 2 weeks after he come back to finally get comfortable with changing direction and moving.
Donnie, what did you see out of Pierre Desir? Because that's a guy that's obviously going to be called on to start for a while until we get some of these guys back.
Well, I mean, the book is still out on those guys. I mean, they from one game coming in, we need to see 3, 4, 5 games before we can kind of determine exactly what type of player they're going to be or how much they're going to help. So we got to see these guys in multiple weeks. It's a little different, from being a starter and then coming off the bench and having to play. Because now it's different when you got a fully game plan for the whole week as the starter or as more playing time. So the book is still out on the guys. I mean, as long as they compete every week, they work hard, they learn from their mistakes. Because as a defensive back or as a defensive guy, you're gonna get beat. It's just how you compete. Do you come back or do you lay down? So as long as these guys compete, I mean, they'll be fine.
Is it easier to step in and play in a man defense, or is it easier to step in and play zone? I feel like zone requires a lot more communication than man.
Right. It's probably easier to step in and play in a man defense because it's like I got my cat. You play cat. You play cat ball.
Defense.
Everybody got their cat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably easy to do that as far as a mental aspect of it, but physically it's tough to play man every snap.
Right.
Donnie,
but mentally coming in, knowing what to do. I got my cat. Then yes, it's easy that way.
Donnie, we've seen basically every team offensively facing our defense has kind of used the same recipe, kind of the same set of plays of get the ball out quickly, get the ball into the playmaker's hands, quick little passes, little cross routes, little pick routes, things like that to kind of force our guys to communicate and make bad decisions or even get in their own way. With that being said, and now the fact that we basically have every starter but our safety out now, then what if I asked you to put on your defensive coordinator headset right now? How would you approach playing and calling defense for this team with the front seven? They've gotten a lot of pressure the last couple of weeks, especially this past week. They really turned it up. They turned those pressures into sacks, and they really caused turnovers and issues for the offense. How are you approaching this as a defensive coordinator? What would you come out there with in terms of scheme and how you would hide or help your DBs or kind of try to combat what we've seen every single week so far from the opposing offenses?
I think some of that would be situational as well too, because it's one of the things where it's two ways you can look at it. You can say we're going to attack them and whatever happens, or we're going to sit back and allow everything caught in front of us and just come up and make tackles, don't get beat over the top. So I think it depends on what type of offense you're playing, and it depends on the guys. Like if we're applying pressure and the young guys back there are holding up, then you keep applying pressure. But if they're not holding up or they're having trouble, then now you're going to be like, wait, we may have to go to more zone. We may have to sit back a little bit. So it kind of depends on the players and the type of offense that you're facing.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the horses, right? You're facing somebody like the Chiefs and they got a guy like Tyreek. He's going to help dictate kind of what kind of coverage you see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, we kind of put the blueprint out of them a little bit, right? And teams started doing the same thing where it was like, man, they literally they don't have long drives. It's shot plays, chunk plays, and that's how they move because Patrick Mahomes will eventually get impatient and launch, and that's what happened against us. So it is situational on who you're playing. Yeah, you can die by 1,000 cuts, or you can send the house. But if you're playing to Patrick Mahomes, you're not sending the house. I mean, we learned that in the regular season game with him last year. Ain't gonna work.
And Todd Bowles was sending the house against the Patriots, especially towards the end of the game, man.
Yeah,
he was bringing blitzes left and right. They were picking him up, and
right.
you got to give
Nevin
it to
was just overrunning it. Just slow down a little bit, bro.
Slow down.
I was gonna say you got to give it to to Mac Jones too. He sidestepped that pass rush. That's all he needed. And,
yeah, I mean they played well. I mean, New England was Matt Jones was. I mean, it's one of the things you got to remember. He's coming from Alabama, so he's not going to get rattled. I mean, he's used to playing in big games. He's used to seeing pressure and stuff. So he's not going to get rattled and stuff. So they offensively they played well. Like you said, he moved and sidestepped the blitzes and got the ball out of his hand, and he made some plays. So it was a great game by them, and luckily we got out of there with a win.
The one thing I think is going to really start to stand out over the next few weeks with all these injuries in the secondary is the fact that we have a guy like Richard Sherman there now who's got the veteran mindset. He's got the ability to kind of help these guys now. So imagine if these injuries all happened and we hadn't signed him, I feel like we might be a little bit less confident in these guys learning, because now you've got a guy back there who's basically a coach, and these guys are younger. They're not studs. They're going to listen. They're going to want to absorb as much as they can, and we talked a little bit about that last week. So I speak a little bit to what Richard can now he's going to be looked to as a leader, and now he has to kind of step in and be a leader as well as learning the defense and playing himself.
Yeah, I mean that is awesome pickup. I mean, you can, from some of the pictures and videos I seen, it's like Richard and Carlton Davis and SMB and all those guys get along very well. They were having some good conversations on the field. So it's huge that they picked him up, especially with all these injuries, because like you said, now he can mentor these young guys, because they're gonna need to soak up everything he can tell them, and so it's good to have, like you said, a coach back there to kind of help them. And the major thing, or the big thing for the young guys, is just to compete. It's not any secret sauce. It's just you go out and compete. If something bad happened to you, you shrug it off and you come back next play and you can compete. And that's something that Richard Sherman is going to be telling those guys, because this is the NFL. There's nobody that's going to totally shut down the receiver. He's going to catch some balls. They're going to make some plays, but it's how you react to it and will determine how successful you are. So long as those young guys compete every snap, no matter what happened, they'll be fine. And like I said, this is invaluable experience that they're about to gain over the next few weeks. That's only going to help this defense down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when the starters do come back, we've got backups behind them who we don't have to be nervous about playing, because they're going to have some experience in this defense. It could pay off big, especially if we are a playoff team and we're playing deeper into the season.
Absolutely,
yeah. If we're a playoff team,
when we are a playoff team.
You talked about them getting their feet wet and the more experience. I think another good thing, Donnie, too, is the matchups we have over here within the next couple of weeks. It's not like we're facing any prolific passing offenses. You got the Dolphins; they're ranked 30th. Like I said, they're 30th or 31st in passing. Jacoby Brissett just does not throw the ball downfield, kind of like Mac Jones. Just doesn't do it. They got Waddle, good rookie. Devontae Parker, solid. He had one good year, but I saw a game last week. He dropped 2 blatant balls, which was bad. So I think they have the opportunity to get their feet wet, but not with something that's an overwhelming matchup, if that makes sense. Same thing with the Eagles. For some reason, people are like, "Oh, the Eagles they can hang points." You're right, but a lot of their stuff is, it's off the run. They have to run the ball to set that up. Their RPOs, the way they run it, they're not going to go out there. And I think it was Stanker. I don't remember who it was that was arguing with me. They can light us up, but it's based off the run. They're not going to drop back Jalen Hurts 40 times. That's not what he's built for. So I think over the next 2 weeks we have some good matchups to allow them to get comfortable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we do as well too. I mean, like I said, Miami. Miami will be a dangerous team because their backs against the wall. They're not, playing well right now. It was high expectations for them, coming into this year. So they'll be dangerous just because of that. They're back against the wall. They're gonna try anything. Philly. I think Philly goes as well as Jalen goes. I think, and I think as long as we can contain him, and I think we can with our front seven, then we should be fine, with them. So they will have a few games where they're able to step in and get comfortable, but still have to compete enough, I think, to win and things like that. So
Well, the X factor we have too. Sorry, Sam, just real quick. The X factor we have too, and you know him well, is double nickel, and we have a guy now that's very underappreciated in number 54 that can just literally spy Jalen all day. It's like, if you want to run around, go ahead. The running element,
call him
I'm
double
not
nickel?
afraid. Huh?
You just called him double nickel.
No, I said we had a guy like.
Oh, you had. I was like, I thought
stuff,
you called him double
did
nickel.
stuff like that shut down Michael Vick. He was our X factor back then. Our X factor now is 45 and 54. I mean, you can just literally have one of those guys spy Jalen, and you're not gonna get off. He's just he's not gonna beat Levante David or Devin White to the sideline. It's just, dude. I'm sorry.
Derek Brooks used to spy Barry Sanders sometimes too.
Yeah.
I remember the game where he was a spy on Barry.
That MVP year that Michael Vick had, he literally shut down Michael Vick. Like he just, I remember the sideline, the NFL films. He's like, I can't get into my drop, bro. Like they're everywhere.
We had so much team speed on defense, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of team speed, Donnie's played with some ferocious pass rushers in his time. Could we fucking talk a little bit about Joe Tryon right now? Could we talk about what this kid is starting to finally put together? I mean, him and Vita on the same side. If you saw that play, Vita took out an entire side of an offensive line, which I've never seen before.
Three guys out.
I've never seen that before. And he just basically opened the door for Joe. And if you look at it, both of Joe's sacks came off of Vita's action. Let's talk a little bit about like what you're seeing from Joe right now and how this can continue to snowball and grow in a good fashion for us down the road, especially now with JBP out and then when he does come back.
Well, I just think he's in a perfect system. He's in a Todd Bowles system that's going to take advantage of all his athletic abilities, and that's what's happening. I mean, Todd is moving him around. He's working him different combinations with guys. Just like Vita Vea seems to be the one that worked last week. But like I said, Vita, I mean, he's just clearing the whole side out. So Joe just clean coming, and laying quarterbacks out. So I mean, it's going to be. I mean, that's going to be the group that has to carry the defense until everyone gets back healthy. So that front seven, they're going to have to step up, and they're going to have to apply the pressure, and they're going to have to stop the run, so they can take some of the stuff off of the young guys.
You see don't forget about William Golston. I was gonna say, don't forget about William Golston, who's the unsung hero. Like he's playing at a high level.
He had a sack.
Yeah. I think he has 3 sacks.
He leads our team with sacks right now. Actually, he's playing phenomenal. He's every year they give him more, and every year he gets better, and he just performs. He does everything right. He stops the run. He rushes the passer now. He does his job, and you just never hear anything about him. You just see him do that dance where he's stacking it, and that's he does it though. I was gonna say, what do you see from the Bucs defense in terms of the front seven and sacks and getting pressure coming up against the Miami Dolphins?
Well, I mean, they should have a better game. I mean, it's tough to say because every offense, it's a copycat league. So, I mean, Miami right now is looking at the New England game, and they're going to be like, okay, what did they do where it kind of neutralizes the Bucs pass rush? So they're going to copycat. They're going to do the same thing. So I just think, Todd Bowles and the defense just got to figure out a different way, or just whether it's combinations with Vita and Joe or different things, to try to apply pressure. But everybody's going to try to do the same thing. But I think they're gonna bounce back because they have to, with all the injuries in the secondary. So they're going to have to step up and be creative and find ways to make more plays.
You think Jacoby Brissett can stand in there and take the hits that Mac Jones took?
I don't think he can. I mean, you're talking about Jacoby. How many years he been in the league?
Ooh, over 10.
Over 10, right?
Yeah, over 10.
So we got a guy that's over 10 years, and we got a rookie. The rookie can take hits all day and get up because he hasn't been pounded for 10 years. So I don't think Jacoby will be able to take those same hits that.
Jacoby might say, "Fuck this! I'm retiring at halftime, man. I'm not going back out there, coach."
He has a history. He has a history of getting injured. I'm not saying he's not a tough guy. I've seen him stand in there and take. I've seen him, limp down the field.
Their O-line is bad too.
Yeah,
really
they just lost 40-0 to the Bills. 40-0. And I get it. That means that they are going to be a wounded dog, but 40-0. Oof.
But that means the Bucs have a template to copy off of there. The copycat league goes both ways. So the Bucs have something they can copy on offense. If they're like, those guys dropped 40 on them. Let's see what we can do.
You know what I want to talk about, Donnie, fellas? Bucs fans have gotten really fucking spoiled, Donnie. I mean, asinine. Now, you're a football mind. You played 2 organizations. You're in the league for a long time. You're a legend, the Iceman. This isn't Madden, Donnie. Can you please tell some Bucs fans this is not Madden?
Right.
People are literally wanting to fire the best general manager in the league.
Right.
Jace,
When did this happen?
because he didn't go after Gilmore.
When did this happen?
Like, can you explain to people, like, we have horses that are coming back. You just can't keep adding people, because then what are you going to do? Like, sorry, Carlton, you're benched, or sorry. Like,
Who said he didn't go after him?
some people on Twitter were literally saying
He got traded. We didn't get a chance to go after him. He didn't get released.
The post said, if we don't make it to the play, or we don't make it to the Super Bowl, Jason Light should be replaced as general manager.
Wow.
Why did you
for not
screenshot
going
that?
after Jet
So we
Light.
could shame that person?
What?
Why didn't you start the show with this? This should have been. What? That's our boy. We got to defend him.
But see, it's one of the things where you always tell people, don't forget where you came from. I mean, people got to understand where we came from. I mean, we're getting spoiled now when Tom Brady got here, but you don't forget where we came from now. And then one of the things where it's more than just, like you said, Madden going out and getting players. There's salary cap numbers and everything that Jason has to deal with that I don't think would have fit anyway. So it's a lot of factors into, we just didn't get him. Of course,
he also
we
wanted $20 million a year.
Yes.
Might be a little important.
Bill said, "Fucking trade him to anybody but Tom."
But the Bucs,
Yeah.
you know that played a factor.
You know what he said, right? Boy, Evan Winter saying that. No, I don't see that. Shut up, Evan. Shut up. You got roofied in L.A. Listen,
Thank you.
You know what Bill said, right? That happens in the NFL, Donnie, right? Bill said, "I'm not releasing him so he can sign with the Bucs potentially." Right. And number 2, I'm going to trade him to his division rival that's 3-1 as well.
Yep.
And they're going to have C.J. Henderson and Horn when he gets back, if he gets back. And I mean, wow. I don't applaud any teams in the NFC South, but good shit, Carolina. You said you got Mike Evans. You got Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and oh my God, Godwin. They said, watch this. We're going to get 3 solid.
But listen, man, they just faced the Cowboys, and they did not play a very good defensive game.
That's because the Cowboys ran it down their throat.
I don't care. If you want, that was the game that the Panthers could have stood up and be like, "Yeah, this defense is for real," and they didn't do it.
What you're seeing is the Cowboys' offense is pretty fucking hard to stop.
I still think that the Carolina Panthers are real. I really do. I'm sorry.
I do too. I like them. I think Christian McCaffrey makes them a different team.
Right.
But the defense didn't play as well. But this is the NFL. They're going to have hiccups like that. I mean, it's still a pretty good defense, and now they've added, another piece to that. Like, man, so they're gonna be pretty solid.
Not just a piece, Donnie. A guy that won Defensive Player of the Year.
Ago.
Are we gonna shame this guy? Do you guys want to know his name?
Is he in game shape? Yeah. But real quick question: Do you think Gilmore is in the shape that way he can just come right in?
He's
and
not
start
playing. He can't play till week 7, anyways.
Yeah.
Right. No, I don't think it's going to take him. Like when he get there, it's going to take him 3 to 4 games to get rolling again. But it's one of the things. Something happened in New England. I mean, I don't know if they felt his play fell off, or I don't know what it was, but. I mean, he was playing at a high caliber level. If he gets back to that, I mean, Carolina is going to have 2 or 3 top dudes, man. That can ball out there.
He's 31. They didn't want to break the bank for him. They signed Judon and a bunch of, they spent like $140 million in free agents this year. They decided to go a different direction and go young.
Yeah,
it happens, man.
Who trades a defensive player of the year for a bag of chips?
He's
a 6th-rounder in 2 years is not making the team.
No. But hold on a second, though, bro, because I'm sure Donnie would agree. And that Adam Schefter addressed that. It's all about leverage. The Patriots had 0 leverage. Right. Everyone knew you're either going to release him or take the bag of chips. Right. They took the bag of chips.
Right.
0 leverage, bro.
The bag of chips. The bag of chips was because they did not want Tom to have him. That's my whole point.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's shame this guy. name is Jeffrey Moss at Crazy Bucks fan, Buck fan 67. We should start. We should do a segment. We should do a weekly segment. We should shame somebody that makes an asinine comment like
Bougie Bucks fans exposed. Go.
Yeah. Hey, we just went from Jameis Winston and crying every year to winning the fucking Super Bowl at home, and this is the response. If the Buccaneers don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, Light needs to be relieved. First, he gets pompous and drafts special teams help, and only one pick is contributing when depth was needed. He won't part with a six-round pick for Gilmore, when the secondary is decimated. Hungry Carolina.
It takes two to tango, man.
I was just about to say that. We're twins.
No, we're not. Don't ever say that again. It takes two to tango. I mean, he
Jason
could offer
Light
a
should
6.
be relieved?
And if somebody else offers a 6, they're like, well, we're going to trade him here. We don't want him to go to Tom. I mean, it's simple as that.
And then everybody understand is you got him for 1 year, and then you got to decide whether you want to give him a long-term contract, $20 million a year.
Not just that, Donnie. When you trade for somebody, you assume that contract. That means you need that money available on your salary cap today. Versus signing him as a free agent. That's a completely different ball of wax.
And it's a 1 year. It's 1 year friendly because I think 1 year he would account $7 million or something like that. But the next year it goes up to 20, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't afford that. We weren't going to pay Carlton Davis that kind of money. Somebody else, I think it was, I keep referencing them, but they're just good. It's just good shit. John Ledger, they were talking about it, or Pewter Report. I mean, you want Gilmore and then see guys like Vita Vea and Godwin walk out the door? Because that's what's going to happen. You want a 31-year-old Gilmore, or do you want to be able to retain Vita Vea and Carlton Davis and Godwin? I think I'm going with the latter.
The only scenario in which Gilmore was coming here was if he was actually released and he came here on a team-friendly deal for 1 year. Not even 1 year.
And they'll get paid.
For what, 15 games or whatever the number of games is, 13 games, whatever we have left. I can't do the math really in my head.
And he might have signed with Carolina anyways.
Yeah,
he lives 3 doors down from their general manager.
He's from Carolina, so it makes sense that he went there. I'm fucking around with the whole "don't send him to Tom" nonsense, but that might have played a factor too. But at the end of the day, we were only going to rent him anyway. We were not going to pay him next season and have other guys lose out on that money, guys that we've been growing here anyway. So when he got traded, you knew that we weren't going to get him.
Yeah.
Donnie, are you surprised by the lack of offensive success we've had so far this season? It just doesn't seem like they're in sync. Like, I thought they would come out like gangbusters and just have all this momentum.
No, I'm not really surprised because you got to remember this is how we started off last year, and you also got to remember we didn't start clicking until the end of last year, going into the playoffs. So when you come back, you can't expect everything to be the same as when you left. Like everybody was expecting them to be clicking just like the playoffs, but you starting back from ground zero. You know, you're not going from the playoffs straight to game one. You know, you got to start back at ground zero. So all the momentum that they had, that was last year. They got to find a way to get that again, and they just haven't done it yet, you know?
Go ahead, Latte.
I respect the answer, Donnie, because you're so polite and you're a professional. But what you were thinking in your head is, what in the are you talking about, Stank? They scored 31 points week 1, 48 week 2. What are you talking about? They started off slow.
Some of those points week 2 were defense. We had 2 defensive touchdowns that week. Calm down. Okay, but the last 2 weeks, they haven't looked great.
24 points.
All right, so here I'm going to ask you, Stank, and then I want Donnie to also answer. What do you think?
Sammer, he's making it seem like it's back in the day where like just give us 14 guys.
I'm not saying that.
What do you think they need to do better, Stank? All right, and then Donnie, after he gives his answer, I'd love to hear what you think the offense should try to do better, or what they need to improve on to really get this to help.
They need to execute better. They need to execute better. To me, yeah, they had some success running the ball last week. It was incredible to see a run-based drive score a touchdown for the first time, and I can't even tell you how long.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess so.
It didn't hurt that the defense played dime like I said they would. But go ahead.
They weren't in dime the whole game.
We ran the ball on fucking 6 DBs most of the time.
They went old school because of the weather. That's what happened. Mm-hmm. Brady did not throw a pretty ball, for most of the game. He came out.
What?
Brady did not look good last week. Don't try to tell me he looked good last week.
Do I need to mute
pretty
you?
ball. He threw five throws that were jaw dropping.
He threw a few really nice balls,
Listen,
but overall it was
Donnie
it was
Abraham.
worst
Donnie
game
Abraham would have caught that touchdown that AB dropped.
Yeah,
I know AB's my boy, but Donnie would have caught that.
Donnie couldn't have thrown it there in the first place. That's right, Brady. You shouldn't have thrown it to AB in the first place.
Donnie, was that not a ridiculous throw for a 44-year-old man to throw a 40-yard, 45, whatever it was, in the corner of the end zone? The DB's literally outstretched. Just a beautiful freaking
stupid play.
Throw.
Stupid play.
And see, I think that is the expectations. So my thing with them, just more consistency. So they are making some great plays. They're scoring a lot of points, but all we heard all offseason was, now that this offense has been together, they're going to be outstanding. And when they're not outstanding, it's like, what's wrong with them? but they're still putting up points. They're still making some incredible throws. To me, they just need to be more consistent, because some drives in that New England game, they look kind of like, man, it just wasn't clicking. And then some drives, they made great throws. AB dropped one, and things like that. So I just think everybody just anticipation from the offseason, all the talk. I think if they're just more consistent, then they'd be great.
When you were watching
Sammer,
that
hold on. You should have got my back, because your tweet during the game was something like, "How come everything just so tough for us? All our yards come so tough."
I didn't.
I have to find it. It was something like that. It was something to that.
I did not tweet that at all.
That's a stinker. PTSD.
No. I'm gonna find
Betty. I
Find
remember saying that with Jameis all the time.
Remember that.
I did not tweet about the offense the entire night.
Yeah,
Sammer would
The
never
only
tweet
issue-
such a soft tweet
The
like that.
only
Like,
issue
That's not soft.
The only issue I had was that we were not solely focused on getting a first down on that last drive, on the second and third down, as opposed to trying to score a touchdown, which I felt may or may not have been Tom Brady's ego or wanting to kind of put that nail in the coffin to his former team and getting that touchdown on the board with his hand on it. I think that's the only thing I tweeted against the offense, which I was like, why are we taking shots here? Get a first down, the game's basically over. I was going to say, Donnie, after you saw Carlton Davis, let up and grab his quad, I know we don't wish injury on anybody, and I know you don't either. But did you start going through DB drills in your living room when you saw that? Because you knew that you were going to be the call.
Put a call in the Jason Light. We did.
I'm not gonna lie. I started stretching a little bit.
There you go. See, all right.
But I came back to reality.
Want some hardware?
Because after I stretched, I was hurting. So I was like, you know what?
Listen, 2-3 weeks, we'll get you back into game shape. I think you need a run for a ring. I need you to go out there and get a ring, man. You deserve a ring. So I need you to lace it up. Just be special teams. Just be a gunner. Anything. I need you to get that ring, man.
You know what he needs, Sammer? You know what he needs? He needs a little motivation from a guy that's motivational movies all around the world, impacting people, who fought Antonio Tarver when he was like 60. Give him a little Sloan. If Sloan can get in the ring and get in shape at like 58 and fight Tarver, who's half his age, Donnie, you can give us maybe 3 reps.
You think he needs a pick-me-up speech from Sly? Is that what you're saying right now?
I think.
Hold
so.
on, Sly. Hey, Sly, can you answer to this tweet right here? Hold on.
I can't see.
Can you answer?
Can't see
Can you answer to this tweet? Damn it! Do I have to read it to you?
Thank
All right, I'm gonna
you.
read it. Hey, it went away.
Team
Where'd it
murder.
go? Oh, there
It
it is.
doesn't exist.
It says, this offense is so frustrating to watch tonight. Why is it such a struggle? Who tweeted that? Oh,
Yeah,
look, it's Sammer Ali.
they were struggling in the rain, and the offensive passes were bad. Tom
That's
Brady
not
was off.
That's not Stanker's quote
Yeah.
with PTSD. Everything in this office looks so hard. Everything
Struggle.
looks so
They
difficult.
struggled.
Everybody else-
They
Same
struggled
shit.
on Sunday night. They were not in sync, and Tom looked
Struggle
off.
is different from everything's so hard.
I didn't tweet, how come we're not scoring 85 points a night, guys?
I didn't say
do
that.
anything like that.
I didn't say that.
No.
I didn't
Okay.
say that.
We were about to get a Sloan speech and close this out.
Sloan can answer to that tweet. Go ahead, Sloan. Go ahead, Sly.
Why do you guys call him
Sly.
Sloan?
Sly?
Who's Sloan?
Stallone.
Sloan is
It's
the
a mixture
former
of Stallone and Sly.
Utah Jazz head coach. Sloan.
Jerry Sloan.
Jerry Sloan, the tallest coach who could
It's
never
a
win.
combination of Sly and Stallone. Sloan.
No, they call him Sly. They don't call him Sloan.
I don't
I've never heard
care
him called
what-
Sloan.
Give him the speech.
You think he needs a speech? I'm going to get you to run through that fucking wall in your mom's house. You understand me, Donnie?
I didn't even start doing stretches.
I don't think that's
Hey.
that Sly Stallone is the motivational voice though. I don't think
Not
so.
at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
I might start loosening up, but I don't know about that doggone gunner now. Them boys get derailed about them.
That's different. That's different.
They're on them smelling salts, Donnie. They got them smelling salts.
Yeah, what'd you think of Bill's
Did you
son?
ever do punt return or kick return in college or in the NFL?
No, I did kickoff return in college.
Punt?
You weren't busting wedges, Donnie? You weren't a wedge buster?
Oh,
Hey, you got to be a different cat to be a punt returner, man.
yeah.
Like, you know they're coming at you full speed. You got to be different.
They paying guys to knock your head off.
Yep.
Donnie, were you there when we drafted Dexter Jackson? No, I think it was after you.
No, I played with Dexter.
No, not that Dexter.
No. Appalachian
Not that
State
Dexter.
the
Appalachian
receiver.
State wide receiver Dexter Jackson,
He
who the
was
Bucs
so
drafted.
afraid.
You played with Jaquez, did you not, for 1 or 2 years? You were on the team when Quezzy was there?
Him and Riddell, yeah.
Yeah. Quezzy was not scared to take that punt return. I remember that. He was never scared. Riddell, I don't know. I don't think he took that many. Riddell wasn't really a punt returner. He was kind of lanky and long. But
I think
Quezzy,
Riddell did a little bit. He did a little bit of kickoff return, I think. Riddell.
Quezzy, man, I remember that one time only score we had in that Green Bay Packers playoff game in Lambeau was Quezzy taking back a touchdown. You guys did your job, but the offense unfortunately did not. Sorry, man. Bad memories, but I remember that shit. I was heartbroken. I was fucking like 12 years old. I was like, we made the playoffs. Fuck yeah. And then
You can make that statement for a lot of games,
man. Oh my God. And this was following that amazing performance you guys had against Barry Sanders, the last game at Houlihan Stadium. You guys held him to like 20-something yards rushing. No one stopped him like that ever. And that was the year he got 2,000 yards, right?
I think so. Why are you bringing up old stuff?
I'm memory lane, man.
I was at that game.
These are good memories, man. I see Derek Brooks and Hardy Nickerson just lighting up Barry Sanders, man. I mean, at least
anything with Barry in it is nightmarish, because I mean that joke. You could be holding him for 25 yards, and then in the fourth quarter he gets like 130. It's like,
yeah, but that game you guys held him throughout the entire game. That's why it stands out to me, because I remember early in the year he torched you guys when you guys were in Detroit. I think that was
we got him a few times. Yeah.
Was it that ridiculous? Was it that ridiculous? Oh, like on field, was it that ridiculous to change his speed?
It was. Yes, it was.
He ever shake you, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So you know it's ridiculous when you do tackling drills.
Yeah.
Right. You do tackling drills. You work on it. Well, the tackling drill for Barry Sanders was you go left and stay there. You attack him from the right and stay there, and somebody attacks him right down the middle, and nobody moves. That's the tackling drill.
So you had gaps.
Because you had him surrounded, and because if the left guy stepped to the right, he was going to shake him outside to the left. So we literally practice surrounding him and staying there no matter what he does.
So that's how you did it that playoff game.
That's how that's how you had to do it, because you had to be left of him, right of him, and somebody in the middle. Because if you didn't do that, he was going to shake you.
And it didn't hurt that you had John Lynch flying in at the end also to kill him.
Exactly.
Funny story about that playoff game, Donnie. First event of my life that I ever camped. I had to camp outside to get tickets for. So we camped out like for 12 or 14 hours at the old Sombrero, and we were just around a bunch of drunk people who played Jimmy Buffett all night long. And that's why, to this day, I hate Jimmy Buffett, because I had to listen to him for 14 straight hours just to go see that game. But we won.
But we won, yep.
We won.
So it was worth it.
Worth it in the end, yeah. I still hate Jimmy Buffett.
Hey,
all right.
It's been an awesome show.
Awesome show, yep.
A great show.
Huge
Donnie,
thanks to
so
Donnie.
basically what we tell the fans is the sky's not falling. We're going to be okay.
We're 3-1.
We're 3-1. But some people were 3-1, and it's like, we didn't get Gilmore.
Listen,
how many seasons?
We've gotten through the tough part of our schedule. We have potential to be 6-1 heading into Halloween weekend against the hated New Orleans Saints. Fuck you guys. Fuck the Saints. We that. All that good shit, right? Fuck the Saints. Hey, Donnie,
30-20,
can I get a
30-20?
fuck the Saints from you?
No,
he ain't gonna do it.
No,
not going to do that.
No,
Donnie is not going to do that.
Can I get a bleep the Saints?
I'm at mom's house, man.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a bleep the Saints.
Bleep the Saints.
Yeah, that counts.
That
We'll take it.
We all know what that meant.
We all know what that meant.
We all know what that meant.
We all know what
State
that meant.
fans know too.
Trying to get his mouth washed out with soap, bro.
I know.
Not
He's
at
trying
mom's
to get me
house.
slapped in the back of the head.
You're a grown ass man. You need to tell your
Mom,
mama. Listen,
are
mama,
you
I won't
crazy?
curse, but you know what? Fuck the Saints. She'll understand.
Stop.
Bro, you're
saying
in
it,
a
man.
box
His
with no.
laptop
You're in a
is on
room with no
speaker.
windows, Sam, or you can say that.
Yes.
Exactly. She's fussing at Sam right now for all this
I
language.
bet she.
Oh,
Thank
I didn't
you.
know she could hear me. I'm sorry. I thought you had headphones on.
I'm like, please stop. He has no headphones, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Mama Abraham, I'm sorry.
Hey, you're gonna text Donnie next week and he's be like, my mom said I can't come out and play.
My mom can't come out and play with you guys
on this show.
anymore.
You know, she watched these podcasts. She'd be like, "Who is that nasty mouth?"
Yep.
Oh, they just
Not
call me a
me.
young man. I like that.
Not me, Mama Abraham.
I'm so sorry. Abraham, I'm so sorry.
Does this mean we can't have dinner at her house? Because if that's the case, I will clean up quickly.
Hey,
No,
Donnie.
you're always welcome.
Donnie, Christine Arians used to follow me on Twitter. She followed me for a few weeks and then she unfollowed me.
Did she cut you off?
She's like, oh,
No
well,
more. No
yeah.
more.
Which is surprising because you know how Bruce has a mouth on him. So you think
Yeah.
she'd be used to that.
Yeah, but
but
you're
just weird.
Yeah, you're weird and disgusting, and
I thought you were going to say
Barefoot in LA.
disturbing.
you're also
End the
disturbing.
show. Donnie has to, do stuff.
Okay,
End
yep.
the show.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you, Donnie.
So do you.
So awesome hanging out with you. You give us amazing insight. And all of you guys out there, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment. We cannot figure out what to call these shows with Donnie Abraham. Our regular idea guy has been, I don't know,
About iced out.
absent.
You know what? Let's do something interesting here. You guys in the comments.
Leave us a
get some
comment.
ideas.
Yeah.
Give us a comment and tell us what you should call it.
What should we
what they
call
come
these
up with.
Donnie Abraham episodes from here on out? It's got to be catchy. If you're, if it's one that you guys put in there that we choose, we'll hook you up with some merch or something. We'll make it fun. Make sure you guys show love and support to our
Sam,
sponsors
can
as
you
well. Sauce
Can
and
you give them
Wings.
a little snippet of what our idea guy came up with. What was it? It was so bad, Donnie.
I don't want to.
No,
I don't want to
I
embarrass
said-
him.
Oh no!
I don't want to
I
embarrass him.
don't even remember it was.
You don't wanna
It was
say-
the breakdown with Donnie, baby. That was one.
The breakdown with
I
Donnie
just came
Baby.
out.
You understand how long of a title that is, bro? That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
That's long.
I mean, it's like posting an essay for a title. It doesn't.
All
Make
right,
any
yo,
sense.
let me hear y'all's again. Exactly.
We're not
Crickets.
the idea guy,
Not
right?
the idea guys.
You're the self-proclaimed idea guy.
Hey, hit up our sponsor, Sauce and Wings. Follow them on Instagram. You can find out where they're located at, where they can have that beautiful mac and cheese with chicken wing meat in it. Hit up For the Bay, baby. For the Bay's clothes is just insane. There's even a discount code. The number 4, TB Loose, baby. You get 10% off your purchase. They got some sick hats, some sick shirts. So go support them. Appreciate you guys. Can't have some business. Go Bucs.
Appreciate you, Donnie. Go
Peace.
Bucks.